guys, it's Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a few DIY clothing items for you guys, actually using just your old traditional fabric that you guys can get at your local fabric store. To be honest, I've been really focusing on trying to upcycle a lot of my clothing right now, as well as sew some new garments, so really stoked about that. And as you guys can see, there's going to be some new stuff coming up too. So if you guys want to keep up with me, you guys should definitely head on over to my Instagram, because that's where I show all of my DIY projects first before they make it onto this channel. So there's always a sneak peek over there. And yeah, I'm super excited about this, so let's just get to the DIY. So matching sets are a foolproof way to always look put together, stylish, and be comfortable. I love the sets on For Love and Lemons, but they are really expensive, so I challenged myself to make one inspired by them. So this is the fabric I chose, and it's so pretty, and I got it at Fabricland for about $13 a meter, and I got about 3 meters of this fabric in total. A little bit on the expensive side, but that's okay. It's still cheaper than if I were to go to For Love and Lemons. Both items are going to be using a technique called shirring, which you will notice is on a lot of popular tops. It's so easy, guys, to do as long as you have the right settings on your machine. So let's start with the top. When the fabric is shirred and scrunched up, it will take about twice the amount to get your size, which means that you'll need to double the length for the front as well as the back. I took a top with a similar shape and measured it about 4 times in a row to figure out how long the piece that I needed to cut was. The vertical length of the top is unaffected by this, so I decided to use the length of the actual top that I was using as a guide, and then I added about 1/2 inch seam allowance to the top and bottom. Once I figured this out, I used a rolled hem for the top and bottom of the fabric to prevent fraying. It's really important to do this before we start shirring our fabric, because it's just harder to hem clothes when the fabric is already scrunched up, plain and simple. Okay, now the shirring technique. You will need an elastic thread. You can pick this up on Amazon or your local fabric store. I have all of my supplies linked in the description box. The elastic thread is only going into the bobbin. Regular thread will be used at the top. You will need to wind your bobbin by hand, because using your machine will make the elastic way too tight, and you want to wind it loosely. Mark where you want your lines to go. About 1/2 inch apart is a really good sweet spot. I marked with a pencil and a ruler where I wanted to stitch. I found that eyeballing it with the foot of my machine actually made it easier. Once you thread your machine, as usual, change your settings to adjust for the elastic. What seemed to work with me is a stitch length of 4 and a tension of 9. I really had to play around with it though to get the right length, and it differs for every machine. Sew with the good side of the fabric facing up, because you want the elastic to be at the back, because you don't want to see it. Make sure to backstitch. It may not look super shirred and scrunchy at first, but the more lines you do, you'll begin to see it. I shirred about 17 lines to create the length I wanted to go. I did want a little peplum ruffle at the bottom, so this was the perfect amount for me, but honestly, you can kind of do whatever you want. Guys, look! It's really coming to life. It looks so good. So this is the fun part. On the cotton setting of your iron, you're going to want to use the steam and press onto your top. You'll see the shirring start to shrink a bit. It's also going to look a little bit more legit and more uniform. If you're sewing a tube top, you're pretty much done. All you have to do is sew it together, good sides facing each other. I would also go down with a zigzag stitch afterwards to make sure it's super secure. I wanted my top to have straps. You see me cutting out 4, but then I just went with 2. I cut 3-inch sections and pinned them together, sewed them, and then turned them inside out, and then ironed them flat. You're going to want to try on your top to figure out where the straps should go, and then attach them in place. So the shorts, I'm really intimidated by anything with a crotch seam because they seem really complicated, but the easiest way to create a pattern is by using some scrap fabric or wax paper and a pair of shorts that already fit you. Make sure to add seam allowance and label the front and back pieces of the pattern, because they are slightly different. This just seemed too good to be true as I was making it, and it was. Okay everyone, so here's where I went wrong, and anyone who's a sewer will know this is where I went wrong. Okay, so I basically just tried to get them on to show you guys because it wasn't going to fit. What I realized on the Everlane ones was that there was, they were basically straight. I accounted for my waist and everything, which wouldn't make any sense because you're going to gather them at the end. So we're going to be cutting the pattern again, except with it not tapering in. We're just going to go straight up from the width of the leg. Okay, so I went off my original pattern but made sure to cut straight up rather than taper inwards for a waist. The waist will be created by shirring afterwards, so once you have about 4 pieces, 2 front and 2 back, you'll want to sew the front pieces together and then the back pieces together along the curved seam, leaving you with 1 entire front piece and 1 entire back piece of your shorts. Now you can kind of start seeing the shorts actually look like shorts. Match up the crotch seams together with the good sides facing each other and sew along, making sure your seams match up. You'll want them kind of to look like a cross at the end. That was the hard part. So sew up the sides and then you'll pretty much have your shorts. Now do a rolled hem for the waist and also the length of your shorts. I decided to do this all together for time's sake, but you can always determine the length of your shorts afterwards. So you'll basically be left with a massive pair of pajama shorts, but that's good. You'll want lots of extra fabric in the waist to ruche with the shirring. So switch your machine back to the shirring settings with the elastic thread and start to shirr the top of your shorts. I wanted a small ruffle, so I shirred about 2 inches down, and I needed about 6 lines of shirring to get the desired effect. Seam the shirring at the waist and iron out the hem for a crisp look. And then you're finally done, guys. Your matching set is here. So here is the final look.
Will you stay even when you wanna walk away? When times get bad, we can learn to love what we have. I don't wanna let you down. I don't wanna let you down. I don't wanna let you down.
Okay, so this, not even a hack, but this technique in sewing is seriously a huge game changer for me, mainly because it's so easy and it's just something that can make something that's older look a little bit more current. So it's a technique I'm definitely going to be using in the future. That is the end of today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any requests on what I should recreate next or make or flip or whatnot, let me know in the comment section below. And if you haven't joined our little family already, definitely hit subscribe because I would love to have you. And with that being said, I'm gonna go, but I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye everyone.
I don't wanna let you down.